Well, I've finally gone to the movie theater for the first time since the cough cough came to America. What movie did I choose to see? Well, the live-action remake slash reboot slash prequel to Disney's 101 Dalmatians, Cruella. The story's all about Cruella, or Estella Miller as she's sometimes called, who lives with her two friends Horace and Jasper. They spend their days on the streets making a living out of pickpocketing, but then Cruella gets a job in the fashion industry, which leads her into this cat and mouse game with the Baroness, the greatest fashion designer in London and Cruella's boss. Cruella wants to steal a certain heirloom from the Baroness while sabotaging her shows and keep her identity hidden so she won't get fired. Finally a Disney remake, sort of, that actually is something different. Now the plot's obviously different, that's easy to get different as it's a prequel. But this movie as a whole, it just feels unique. The aesthetic is different, and it actually makes 1970s London look kind of cool. It's got a 1.85 aspect ratio, which I appreciate. Not every movie needs to be CinemaScope. And the soundtrack certainly makes a statement. Chock full of 60s and 70s classic rock. Usually, when licensed pop songs start playing in a movie, my eyes glaze over if I don't have the energy to roll them. It's usually a sign of a lazy filmmaker who really liked a song and then just thought they'd slap it in there without any regard for if that piece of music actually helped the story or not. But Cruella uses the soundtrack with intentionality. Most movies will have 4 or 5 licensed songs in the soundtrack. Cruella has 33, letting you know that this is the language of the film's music. In fact, there was this one cutaway scene that only lasted 5 seconds, and they started to play a song and it was getting revved up, and so you thought you were about to see a montage, but then it cut back right to the original scene and the sound went dead. That's a sign of a sound editor and a director who really know what they're doing. When the trailers came out, folks were worried that this was trying to be a Joker or Birds of Prey cheap knockoff. But aside from one very specific plot element, this film really is its own original story and doesn't feel like those movies at all. The trailers also made it look like it was messing around with the 101 Dalmatians lore, but the film pulled off some surprise twists that actually fit the lore. Although then it made other choices that leave you scratching your heads as it doesn't fit anything at all. And I can appreciate that. It wants to be its own thing, not beholden to any other films, which is one of the best attitudes a remake can have. I like the casting. Everyone's talking about Emma Stone and Emma Thompson as Cruella and the Baroness, but I really like Joel Fry as Jasper. His and this film's take on the character really brings a new aspect to the Cruella, Horace, and Jasper trio that's really interesting to watch. As far as heist films go, this one isn't especially clever, but it does get more clever as the film progresses. And there were some parts I actually went, "ah," out loud in the theater, so that's always a good sign. There are some problems I have with the film. It goes on a bit too long, 2 hours and 14 minutes, and the plot feels a little repetitive by the end. It's original in several areas, but it doesn't feel like the dream child of a creator. You can still see the shaky hand of a nervous studio executive throughout the piece. Like how Cruella employs a transvestite fashion designer who has no personality, of course, outside of that one external trait. Or how there's a complete lack of fur clothing anywhere to be seen in the movie, even though you'd think that'd be an important part of a Cruella origin story. She's all about fur. The biggest problem I had with the film was that Cruella really doesn't commit any crimes or do anything bad, except be mean to her friends, some minor vandalism, and something akin to insurance fraud. There's still a gap between the Cruella at the end of this movie and the Cruella who wants to skin puppies to make a fur coat. This isn't a villain's origin story, just a story about someone who will be a villain in another story. So I've been debating in my head whether I should rate this as a C or a B. It's an enjoyable movie, but is it highly enjoyable? I was thinking about the things which I wish were different about this movie, and instead of thinking, "oh, I wish I could just reach through the screen and rearrange these few elements," like I often think about some movies, I'm just thinking, yeah, there are some things I would do different, but whatever. It's Disney's movie, not mine. And that tells me that this movie is entertaining, but it's not investing, at least for me. So I will give this film a C for Cruella, though it should be noted that this is a fruit punch grade, a high C. I've only seen the film once, so my opinion may change further down the road, but this is where it stands right now. I don't know what it is, the plot, the characters, but I just could not get super invested in the movie. And that's one of the most subjective parts of movie critique, and it's different for everybody. So if you're wondering whether you ought to risk $5 or $10 for a movie ticket, I say go for it. It's not a bad movie at all. If you have seen it, what are your thoughts? Would you also give it a C or another letter grade? Also, let me know what you think of this new video format. I'm trying to streamline the look of these reviews. That's it for now, although I do have one more review already in the pipeline, so that will probably be coming out this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. Alright, see you later.